A couple of days ago, we got some pretty big news regarding Alex Pietrangelo's upcoming free agency. Darren Dreger of TSN tweeted out, sources say contract talks between the St. Louis Blues and Blues captain Alex Pietrangelo have broken off. The team has advised Pietrangelo to pursue unrestricted free agency. He followed that tweet up by saying, just spoke with Pietrangelo, who says contract talks haven't gone the way both sides were hoping, and unless something changes, it's in the best interest for both sides to see what the market looks like on October 9th. We knew that it was going to be difficult for St. Louis to get a deal done with Pietrangelo just given their current cap situation and with the flat cap, and I mean it's not a guarantee that he won't return to the Blues, anything can happen, but I would say it's probably like 90% chance he signs somewhere else and 10% chance he returns to St. Louis next year. As far as where Pietrangelo might sign, what his contract could look like, that's not exactly what we're going to focus on in this video, but I can definitely make a video on that in the future, maybe 5 teams that should sign Alex Pietrangelo or something along the lines of that. However, in this video, I want to focus on the St. Louis Blues and what their future could look like without their captain Alex Pietrangelo. I'm sure a lot of St. Louis Blues fans are pretty upset with how everything has went, and you would obviously prefer a contract get done between the two sides and Pietrangelo returns to the team, but I want to say this, it's not the end of the world, and this team, I personally think, is going to be fine. Over the past couple of years, not just in hockey, but in sports in general, we have seen examples of superstar players leaving their team in free agency to go somewhere else, and the team they left then becomes better. Obviously, the example when it comes to the NHL is the New York Islanders. When they lost John Tavares, everybody thought they would be dead in the water, and they've made the playoffs every single year without him and just made the conference finals. Another great example is when Kawhi Leonard left the Toronto Raptors after they won an NBA championship together. Everybody counted the Raptors out, predicted them not even to make the playoffs, and they were the 2nd seed in the East this year and made it all the way to Game 7 of the 2nd round. I wanted to make sure I brought that up in this video just to let St. Louis Blues fans know that this is not the end of the world, and although Alex Pietrangelo isn't just a player you can go out and replace, he's a Norris caliber defenseman, but I do think St. Louis should still be a good team without him. Anyways, that was a really long intro, but in the next couple of days, if you guys want to see me make a video on teams that I think should potentially sign Alex Pietrangelo, then be sure to leave a like on this video, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and check out my gaming channel if that is something that interests you. Links to all that will be down below in the description, and as always, if you guys are new to this channel and you want to see more NHL content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and now let's begin. Let's start off by taking a look at what the decor looks like without Alex Pietrangelo. It's definitely not one of the best in the NHL, but it's not close to being one of the worst decors in the NHL either. As of right now, that decor consists of Justin Falk, Colton Parayko, Marco Scandella, Carl Gunnarsson, Robert Bertuzzo, and Vince Dunn, who is an RFA and needs a new deal, but if Pietrangelo's not coming back, then it should be easy to get something agreed upon there. So that is 6 guys right there. They obviously could go out and trade for another defenseman in the offseason, or even sign one of the lower tier defenseman free agents, depending on how much cap space they have left after signing Vince Dunn, but they should have at least a little bit since they did unload Jake Allen's contract. But yeah, like I said, it's not a bad decor at all. One thing that I do think needs to happen if the St. Louis Blues want to remain not just good, but want to remain a contender, is that Justin Falk has to be better. St. Louis traded for him, signed him to that massive contract extension, paying him $6.5 million a season, and that money being paid to Justin Falk is a big reason why Alex Pietrangelo is probably going to be out the door. His first season with the Blues, definitely disappointing, but we should give him the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes it does take players a little bit to adapt after being traded to a new team, but yeah, I definitely think he has to be better because he's going to be asked to do a lot more if Pietrangelo doesn't come back. I definitely don't think Justin Falk is going to be the guy on the blue line in St. Louis now and be their #1 defenseman. I think that'll definitely be Colton Parayko, but it would obviously be huge for this team if Justin Falk can play to his full potential and live up to the contract that they gave him. That's enough on the defense though. Let's now shift our focus to what the forward group will look like for the St. Louis Blues heading into next season, and honestly, it's pretty much going to look the exact same unless they make a couple of trades in the offseason, which is entirely possible. But aside from Troy Brouwer, everybody is still under contract at least through the 2020-21 season. It's next summer when things, I think, are going to get really interesting for this team and when things could start to look a lot different. A lot of UFAs, a lot of important ones: Alexander Steen, Jaden Schwartz, Tyler Bozak, Jordan Binnington is a UFA next summer as well. Also, two pretty big RFAs in Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas. At this point, it's hard to say what their asking price could look like. A lot of that will depend on how they play in the 2020-21 season, but when the time comes, it's definitely going to be very important for St. Louis to lock these guys up long term because they are both going to be massive parts of the future of this team, Robert Thomas especially. When it comes to the St. Louis Blues, one player that really intrigues me heading into next season for them is 21-year-old Klim Kostin, who is their 31st overall pick back in the 2017 NHL draft. Kostin has played the last 3 seasons in the American Hockey League and has continued to get better. This season, in 48 games, he had a career-high 30 points down there, and also appeared in 4 games for the Blues this season and had 1 goal. If he can become a full-time member of the NHL club next season, that would definitely change the outlook of the St. Louis Blues top 9. I think Klim Kostin has the potential to be a very, very good power forward at the NHL level. He's 6'3", 212 pounds, and in 3 AHL seasons so far has racked up well over 200 penalty minutes. So yeah, like I said, he's definitely somebody that really intrigues me heading into next season for them. So we've talked about the D-core, we've talked about the forwards, now let's focus on the goaltending a little bit. And to me, the goaltending for this team is going to be the biggest determining factor on if they can be a contender again next season. As of right now, if nothing changes, the tandem heading into next season will be Jordan Binnington and Ville Husso, Husso having not played an NHL game yet. So that right there could obviously be something to be concerned about. You go from a guy like Jake Allen, who is a fantastic backup for the Blues this past season and stole the starting job from Binnington in the playoffs, to a guy who hasn't played an NHL game yet. And when it comes to Jordan Binnington, obviously, as we all know, he had that incredible run last year which led to the St. Louis Blues winning the Stanley Cup, and after the performance he put on in this year's playoffs, I saw a lot of people calling him, a one-season wonder and stuff like that. I'm still a believer in Jordan Binnington. He was solid in the regular season, 30, 13, and 7, a 9-12 save percentage. I feel like people are kind of just forgetting about that and just thinking about what he did in the playoffs. I'm not saying there isn't reason to be concerned, because there definitely is. He was 0-5 in the playoffs with an 851 save percentage, and like I said, he kind of lost the starting job to Jake Allen in that series against the Vancouver Canucks. So yes, Binnington was awful in the 2020 playoffs, there's no sugarcoating it, but I don't think everybody should overreact and give up on Binnington just because he was bad in his second ever playoff run. I am pretty interested to see if this is the tandem that St. Louis will roll with into next season. I would not be surprised at all if they go out and get a veteran backup for Jordan Binnington, maybe a guy like Jimmy Howard. It recently came out that Jimmy Howard will not be playing for the Red Wings next season, but he doesn't have any plans to retire, so I think St. Louis could definitely get him for a very, very cheap deal, especially when you consider the numbers he had this past season. So yeah, that's all I really have to say on the goaltending situation. I've pretty much touched on everything I wanted to when it comes to the St. Louis Blues in this video. As far as my expectations go for this team, I definitely expect them to be a playoff team again next season, and that is whether Alex Pietrangelo is a part of this team or not. One thing I am really hoping for when it comes to this team next season is that we see a full, healthy season from Vladimir Tarasenko. He's one of the most exciting players to watch in the league when he's hot and when he's on his game. Unfortunately, he was only able to play 10 regular season games and just 4 playoff games this season, and his health is definitely important for this team. He's a guy who can score 40 goals. He's done it before. He's scored 30 or more 5 times. One last thing I wanted to talk about before I end off the video: who is going to be the next captain of the St. Louis Blues if Pietrangelo does leave in free agency, because obviously he's the captain. He's been the captain for a while now. My prediction would definitely be Ryan O'Reilly. I have a hard time believing they would give it to anybody else. I think Ryan O'Reilly would make a great captain. But yeah, guys, that is pretty much going to wrap up this video. Be sure to let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. Any predictions you have, if you think Pietrangelo is leaving, what team do you think he might sign with, what could the contract look like? Be sure to let me know who you think is going to be the next captain of the St. Louis Blues if Pietrangelo does leave in free agency, and just your overall thoughts about this team moving forward into the future. At this point, honestly, I am kind of hoping Pietrangelo leaves in free agency agency, because for one, I would have looked like a fool for making this video, and for two, superstar caliber players don't usually change teams a lot in the NHL like they do in other major sports, so it's a big deal when it happens. Anyways, that is going to do it. If you guys did enjoy the video, please be sure to leave it a like. That is the best way to show your support. And as always, if you guys are new to the channel and you want to see more NHL content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys all in the next video.